Spanning Backup for Salesforce offers enterprise-grade data protection for your Salesforce data, including standard objects, custom objects, chatter messages, attachments, files, and metadata, and is lightning ready. Spanning offers the ability to override field values when performing a restore into the same org or a different org. This feature will help Salesforce admins and developers when restoring objects owned by inactive users, when objects have newly added required fields, or when populating sandboxes with sensitive data. Here's how it works. From the Spanning dashboard, click the Restore button to initiate a restore process. In this example, we'll showcase restoring data back into the same org, and later into a different org. Begin the restore flow by either uploading a CSV with the Salesforce object IDs that you want to select for restore, or by selecting the objects for restore within the Spanning application. Select your object type to restore, define your date range, and then select the specific records that you want to restore back into your Salesforce org. Select whether or not to restore children, click Next, and then click Restore. When the restore completes, click the Restore action from the Recent Activity panel on the dashboard, and you'll see that the records failed to be restored because the original record owner is no longer active in your Salesforce org. In the past, this would force the Salesforce administrator to reactivate the user accounts that own these desired records, run the restore again, change the owners of those restored records to a different active user, and then deactivate the original user account again. With Spanning's Overwrite Field Values feature, the system administrator can retry the restore of these failed records and simply overwrite the owner ID field to have the ID of another active user. Here's how to do this. From the Restore Action page, click the Download Errors button. When the download is ready, click the button from the pop-up banner or from the Recent Activity page on the dashboard. Click the Request Download button and then download the file. Uncompress the download and then open the CSV in Microsoft Excel or another spreadsheet program to see the details of all the objects that failed to be restored. Return to the Spanning Backup dashboard and click the Restore button to initiate a new restore process. Select this org and then click Next. Next, upload the CSV that you just downloaded from Spanning containing the Salesforce object IDs of all records that failed to be restored and click Verify. Once the verification is complete and you confirm that the records have been selected, click Next. Choose whether or not to include children in the restore and then click the Overwrite Field Values checkbox. Select the object type and then the field name that we want to overwrite, Owner ID. Next, input the Salesforce ID of a currently active user in your Salesforce org. Repeat these steps for as many object types as you want. When ready, click Next and then click Restore. When the restore is complete, click the Restore action from the Recent Activity panel on the dashboard, and you'll see that the records were successfully restored. Please note that if you know that some of the records are owned by inactive users ahead of time, you can overwrite the field values on your first restore. You don't need to wait for a restore to fail. Additionally, the Overwrite Field Values feature can be useful if you want to restore backed-up records that are older, but those object types now have required fields that weren't present at the time of backup. You can use the Overwrite Field Values feature to input a value into those required fields during the restore process, so that the records can be restored successfully. Another use case for overwriting field values during a restore process is to overwrite or mask specific fields when populating a sandbox. Companies in highly regulated industries often keep sensitive or personally identifiable information in their Salesforce accounts, such as social security numbers, credit card numbers, or healthcare information. And Salesforce admins often want to have this sensitive information masked when they populate sandboxes with data from their production environment. Spanning's Overwrite Field Values feature will allow admins to proactively mask these sensitive information fields during the restore process, instead of needing to have policies in place in their sandbox to reactively mask certain fields. Here's how to do this. From the Spanning dashboard, click the Restore button to initiate a new restore process. Select different org and then authenticate the org that you want to restore into. Ensure that your destination org is set up for a cross-org restore, and when ready, click Next. Upload a CSV containing all of the Salesforce object IDs that you want to restore, and then click Verify. When the verification process is complete, confirm that all records have been correctly selected for restore, and then click Next. Click the Overwrite Field Values checkbox and select the object type and then the field name that you want to overwrite values for. Next, input the values that you want to have overwritten. Repeat this process for all other fields of any object types that you want to overwrite during this restore process. When ready, click Next and then Restore. When the restore is complete, click the Restore action from the Recent Activity panel on the dashboard, and you'll see that the records were successfully restored. The best way to understand the value of the Override Field Values feature in Spanning Backup for Salesforce is to try it. Install Spanning Backup from the App Exchange or spanning.com to try it free for 14 days and start doing what Salesforce recommends. Use a third-party backup to protect your org.